Alright.
Hey there, my name is Justin Cho, and today we're going to be talking about how we made 16 Define Me. And if you haven't seen it yet, click up here or the link in the description below and enjoy.
Your iced latte is getting cold.
So for our first official project of the Blockbusters, we brought you into a universe where the 4 letters of the MBTI personality types are visible to all the characters. And if you know me personally, I'm one of those ENFPs who are immersed or in love with the concept of MBTI. I thought it was a good chance to get to know what type of personalities are there and how they're specified into these 16 types. Although all 16 types don't come out in the film, I thought it was a good chance to look upon what type letters react or communicate with one another in certain situations.
I love the fact that we had the different personality traits above the head, but I also love that you added the spin that your personality can flip. You know, you can't identify yourself with just one thing because it's liable to change.
I wasn't too terribly familiar with MBTI when I was, first getting into this project, but I think something that's really interesting about it is myself being an INFP and then finding other people in the cast who are also INFPs. It's so strange because I actually see how they are. It's not just some random process on an app. There actually is some science behind it. You know, there is some connections between each other.
So we have our leads: Dave, Gloria, Aurora, Maddie, Tay, and Logan. I wanted to make the extroverts as the no filter guys, and they speak for themselves very clearly. And I wanted to make the introverts quieter and internally thinking in their characteristics. And when I was crafting these characters, I only had one simple question in mind. What would they say in this situation? I would have friends at school or church who are ENFJs or ESTJs, and most of the lines were crafted from prior communications I had with them, and I kind of inferred what they would say in these situations.
I'm tired.
I'm tired as well, but I'm excited.
So let's talk about shooting. So day 1, we met at the UNCSA Library Cafe.
That morning was cool. I think a lot of people was tired that morning, but we managed to get what we needed to get done. The energy was a little awkward at first, but once everybody started to say their lines and we started to get those shots done, it became more natural.
Camera rolling. Sound. Scene 3.
Logan! Our one and only ENFJ. 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 ENFJ is here.
Action.
Oh, shit.
See? Such a common type, Dave.
Yeah.
Big deal.
Yeah.
It took some time coming up with the design for these letters in post. First, I made these letters 2D and very simple as possible, but the main forte and the emphasis I wanted to put on these letters was through the motion tracking. To establish this fictional universe, I tracked the movements of their heads to the letters themselves, and then something was a little off.
We've been waiting forever. Come on, bro.
After a course of thoughts of how to hone the design of these letters, I decided to change the font.
I'm here.
Oh!
So after changing the font to a more digital looking title, I decided to make them realistic as possible. I tried to do the motion tracking according to the movements of their heads.
How is everyone? It's been forever since I've seen you guys.
I also wanted to craft these characters in a way where their thought process is depicted differently. This is definitely shown in the relationship between Dave and Maddie.
Yeah, I guess she was. No need to be overly dramatic about it.
Dave, as an extroverted intuitive personality type, I wanted Evan to portray this role in an over-exaggerated manner.
Yo, Logan!
Look who it is. Our one and only E-N.
We can see him as an outgoing guy in the group, but also since he is a feeling type, he's more sensitive than Maddie.
Such a common type, Dave. No big deal.
Yeah, but this just hits different.
And Maddie, as an extroverted thinking personality type, I wanted Isabella to portray this role as a down-to-earth and logical type of person. She's all about the facts and isn't able to comprehend Dave's thought process.
What's the huge difference? Look out there. 1, 2, 3, see?
And our story suddenly comes to a shift when Aurora walks in.
Oh, shit.
What? Holy shit.
So when I was writing the parking garage scene in 16 to Find Me, one of the leading factors was simply the name of the character Aurora. The name is a Latin word that means mystique, mystical, or dawn. And I find that her character probably represents that. And by having this parking garage that's at this dawn time, and you don't really know what she's feeling, it definitely properly embodies that mystique about her name.
I'm moving to Barcelona.
Aurora,
I'm so sorry, Dave.
When writing the parking garage scene, the biggest thing that was in my mind was trying to put myself in Evan's shoes, and by going back into my own personal experiences in life similar to what was going on there, and trying to put it in a way where, not just myself would understand, but anyone, even if they've never really experienced anything like that.
In day 2 of shooting, we headed to downtown Winston-Salem.
I'm tired.
Me too.
Is that what I said? Yeah, I think I said that the last time.
Mr. C, I just want to thank you for going back 2 times to the car because we forgot equipment.
I want to talk about the downtown shooting when we didn't have any of the equipment that we needed and everybody was freaking out.
When you guys forget y'all equipment, I am here.
Yes, sir.
I better get credits for that.
Yes, sir.
It was around the evening, and we actually had no time to waste. We had to get the scene shot in that golden hour, and we also needed to capture the sunset between the 2 characters.
So, how I remember it is we had just gotten up to the top of the parking garage, and we spent a good bit like trying to figure out where we wanted to shoot up there and setting up equipment and everything. And so we went up to like the very top layer of the parking deck. And it was really pretty, like the sun was setting and everything. It looked really good.
Just the way the sun was setting and the contrast against Marie and Evan, everything just looked so good. The different shots that we got, the skyscrapers. I remember you was getting upset because the sun was like lower than what it was when we first started shooting, and so like some shots were light and then some shots were dark, and so we didn't know if we could use the dark ones, but everything worked out, like everything turned out so good, especially with your editing.
And when we started filming, I had my mic up, you could kind of like hear this sound.
You could hear the music. I think there was like a festival going on downtown, right?
Like really, really faintly. It was definitely there, like there was something. We moved to another part of the parking garage. We moved a bit lower. I could hear the same sound, but it was a lot louder. Oh, that's gospel music.
And you could hear the music playing as we were filming, so there was no way we couldn't use that audio at all.
Like really loud, like right into the right part of the earphone, just like straight up like, our God is great. It's like, it was loud. And I was like, oh, we gotta stop, we gotta stop. There's gospel music playing right now. When we finally got the footage, we just kept rolling with it. We were like, it's fine, it won't even show up in post.
Until I went to editing, and the music was so distinctive.
It showed up in post.
We had to go with plan B, dubbing.
I think we're gonna have to dub it.
It worked.
And Justin like lost his mind.
So up on the rooftop, I did actually lose my mind. I didn't want this to happen. So I called Evan and Marie and I was like, hey, I'm sorry, but we're gonna have to dub the scene. And Marie was just like, what? Why? Can't you just get the music out of the way? No, it's not possible like that. And then Evan was like, all right, okay, man, I could do that.
Today I'm dubbing the parking garage scene from the climax of Justin's 16 to Find Me. It's been like 6 weeks since we filmed. I'm excited to scream into this mic. Well, I love you too much to see you like this. Aurora,
And to Evan and Marie, thank you, and give yourselves a pat on the back for achieving this long journey and process of dubbing. Dubbing is difficult, you know? Next time, if we hear music on the parking garage, I'm just gonna yell at the person downtown, hey, turn off your music. And finally, we have our post-credits scene with Chloe.
Oh, well, it was a really amazing opportunity, and it was the first thing I've ever done on film, so everybody was super kind and really welcomed me into the process, and it was really fun. So, yeah.
Chloe and Scholar.
And our cameo, Justin Chong.
Who do you play? Who do you play?
Cameras off.
Who do you play?
Ryan.
We had Gloria meet Ryan, Aurora's brother, way before Gloria goes to the cafe. And we find out she's been knowing Aurora's comeback all along, but kept it all to herself. I tried my best to depict this introverted personality through this example. I wanted Chloe to portray this character as a lighthearted person, because based on every INFP I've met in my life, they have this aura that is easygoing. The intuition they bring about is extraordinary, but, you know, sometimes I find it very comedic.
So this is what it feels like to get your letters changed.
Okay, I'm Sam Tripp. I'm the composer for 16 to Find Me. So I had the honor of working with Ellie Dixon, who played violin, Trent Smart on clarinet, and composer Barrett Bailey on piano, and I played cello for the recording. A lot of what happened when we were recording was spontaneous.
Room for creativity and just improv and just messing around. You know, it was very free flowing.
I felt excited to be the only woodwind in 16. Oh shit, I forgot the title.
So writing Your Iced Latte was getting cold. For me, like, the funniest part of that scene was just how, like, over dramatic Evan's character was. So trying to, like, portray that in the music with the plucks and the strings and then the just abrupt chords was a lot of fun.
I rarely play with non-woodwind musicians, especially in a chamber setting. Being able to play among other musicians that I've never played among was a learning experience and an enjoyable experience. 16 to Find Me. Okay.
What we did is Justin, he had the movie on his phone, and what he did is he muted the video. He put it on the piano thing, and I just watched it a couple times. And, you know, a lot of the time when I'm in the practice room, a lot of the things I'm doing is I just do random stuff on piano.
Bro, this just hits different.
Dave is like talking to him about, he's like, oh no, we're not both ENFJ. There's little minor dissonances. Specifically on Dave's part, it's kind of a negative moment for him.
For the track Logan, I worked with my friend Jackson West, who's a guitarist, and I sent him the clip and gave him a description of what I had in mind. And I think that was probably my favorite part of the entire soundtrack. Well, first of all, like, just seeing, like, the visual of that scene, I was really, like, impressed with Evan's acting, and that was kind of the biggest, like, inspiration for writing that piece, because it was, like, you know, a lot of, like, the emotion he's portraying isn't through what he's saying, it's just, like, you can see on his face and stuff.
It was different than most pieces I played before because it featured clarinet not as a solo instrument, but as part of the ensemble, and usually in orchestral music, clarinet is like a solo instrument, but in this setting, clarinet was more of like a background instrument, and so it was interesting to play more of the accompaniment to the piece.
How you doing?
Good.
Good, how are you?
Wonderful. I like pineapple on pizza.
Wow.
Cannot say that I can.
Wow.